Hey y'all, welcome back to Amped 2. I'm Insetic. With me on this set is Blank Tester,
Hey kids, how's it going?
Matt Rocks 101,
Hey, I'm Matt.
and Turo.
Hello.
In this video, we're going to Millicent. We're returning to Millicent. We're also going to Event 3 in this video. So yeah, Millicent, I thought we already were there. Well, Amped 2 does kind of the same thing Amped 1 did, where at the start of the game, you go to like the bottom half of a mountain range. And then later on in the game, it'll open up and give you the full mountain range. So here, Millicent, with a new time of day, new drop points, new challenges for every type, own the mountain, high score, everything. And you're coming back here with a lot more stat points than obviously you had at the beginning of the game, so it's gonna feel like a whole different experience.
It's almost like it's not even the same mountain.
Millicent, I hardly know her.
Yeah.
I hardly know her since.
I don't think that's how that works.
So we're just gonna ride, chill, and grill. And speaking of grilling,
Jesus.
Good,
Bob, you had a story?
My God, that sucks. That's a transition to this. Okay. So all I was gonna say was I just came back from McDonald's. I haven't been to McDonald's in a long time, but my wife wanted some food before I got home, and so I was like, okay, fine. I have a minute, so I'll just go to McDonald's. And this McDonald's didn't have a drive-through, so I was like, I'll just run in and just get some food, and I'll leave. And when I went in, it's been a while since I've been to McDonald's, and I knew they had the kiosks, and I knew that they were doing away with the cashiers. I was aware of that. I didn't realize how it was going to change the mood of going to McDonald's. It was already a somber occasion. I'm going to McDonald's. But
Yeah.
this was deathly, I would say. I've been to cheerier funerals, and I don't mean that as a joke. I have actually been to cheerier funerals. It was just a room full of people standing next to, like, the kiosks, and then, like, in silence. Like, I didn't say anything to anyone until I was already receiving my food. And all the words that were said when I went in there and left was, 747? Yeah, thank you.
And that's it. And then
That's
you were
it.
Crazy.
That was my whole interaction with the people working at McDonald's. And I gotta say, that's really fucking depressing.
I don't want to dox you or myself, but I do want to say that nowhere around me, anywhere, has the kiosks with no employees.
I have
I don't know,
no
that's
idea if
almost
that's a
just
good
as
or
good.
bad thing.
Like,
I do
there's
know
not
if
a
that's good or bad
single
thing.
restaurant, store, anything that just has a kiosk. Everything
My
just has
local
employees
McDonald's has had the kiosk since before COVID.
Ooh.
I know what you're talking about, but I've never experienced it.
Like,
in real life.
it was...
They
like,
don't
it's
exist
not...
here.
I feel like an old person. Like, it's not like I want the employees of McDonald's to smile at me. They don't have to smile. They don't have to be happy for my sake. I'm not happy for my sake. Why would they have to be happy for my sake? But, like, the idea that I'm going into this place for nourishment, and instead of nourishment, I'm getting garbage, and I'm not getting human interaction, is insane to me. Like,
yeah, you want them
this
to
is such
exist.
This is such a savage, like, destruction of what we used to do on the savannah. You know, like, our ancient ancestors hunted, ran for miles, and hunted game. And now I walk into a McDonald's, and I press buttons on a screen, and
food
then
is
no one
dispensed
talks to
to
me,
you.
and very expensive garbage is delivered to my hands. Like...
Yeah,
I don't
you know what?
understand what
That
world I
Gazelle
live in
used to
anymore.
cost $7.47.
yeah. Like, I've recently thought God stopped existing when we built a second floor.
Yeah, right? Like, we got too ambitious when the Tower of Babel was right.
Yeah.
We should all be living on the ground floor.
Yeah. It's not that they got too close to God. It was as soon as they built the second floor,
Just
God was
even
like,
honestly,
I gotta
people over-
think about something. Like,
People over
something's gotta be done
6'6"
about
are cutting it close. They are
you know what I
cutting it close.
this. Well,
That's all I'm saying.
Do you have any opinions on the National Basketball Association?
Have you ever considered that the average human height has been going up, and the world has been getting sadder, and God has been leaving us?
Yeah.
Yeah, whoa.
Coincidence?
It's because of the National Basketball Association.
Don't blame them. They're just athletes.
They're just
Well-
making do with what they were given.
Yeah.
Such as being 6'6".
The
and
greatest
higher.
trick the devil ever pulled was making everyone much taller over time.
Oh,
It's a trick
I thought
pulled.
the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was putting you in front of me.
No, see, normally I would say that, but in this case, I think
You're
that
already dead.
Yeah, sorry, I should have let you finish. But normally I would say that, but I think in this case we've just discovered that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making people taller because we didn't think it was a trick until just now.
Right.
I had never thought about it like that.
Right?
All right.
I thought it was just a normal, like, oh, cool, people are healthier, they're getting taller. Like, no.
A quick thing. So, Millicent, one of the tricks you have to do is to stomp 3 landings in a run. And I don't know if I'll talk about this or show this off during locks full, where you have to stomp 5 landings in a run.
Yeah.
But the kind of easier way to stop a landing is to get like a small jump and do like a rodeo or corkscrew. Because, like, I think for stomping it, it's really looking at, like, finishing a trick kind of close to the ground and then, of course, getting your board fully under you. And that's just easier on small jumps rather than hucking
Is that what
yourself
it
off a giant jump.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like,
think
stomped it is the best kind of landing.
I thought stomping it was when you finished your rotation within, like, a moment of landing. So your board just landed and stomped on the snow. That's what
Yeah,
I always
exactly.
thought it
Yeah,
was.
that's
it's
what
something
he's
like
saying.
that.
Is that
But,
like,
like,
if
without
you...
regardless of the trick, it's the rotation that I think is the issue. I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
exactly. It's just like if you go off a small jump and do exactly a rodeo. If you go off a jump, which at this point of the game, you can do a Misty or rodeo almost off of flat ground. So if you just go off a small kicker, like smaller than this, and do a Misty or a rodeo, you'll probably finish it within like 30 or so frames of landing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so either way, that's kind of what you're seeing is the simpler way to do it, and I'm just saying that because I do not yet know if I will, like, dedicate a run on locks to just trying to stomp landings.
That sounds miserable. I did try recently to go back and look through trying to 100% the game. Man, I sure left the most boring parts for last with the snowmen and the gaps. Good.
Yeah, even my Own the Mountain guide says, like, just do those along the way. Not only
You
is
should
it
either
more
do
fun,
those along
but
the way or do them first so you can get them out of the way. That sounds like the absolute
Yeah.
worst way to do this, leaving them last.
Exactly, because gaps also, the early game gaps can be pretty hard with a fully static character. It's just I wasn't familiar enough with the game.
No.
Like, I mean, when I play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, I 100% the game as I go along. Like, I do not move on to the next level before I 100%.
That's how I play most games.
Yeah. Like, completionist.
Oh my god.
I really
didn't
wish
do
I
the math.
didn't do that. I really, really want to stop.
Yeah, like, it's almost less completionism and more FOMO. Where it's just
It's-
like, this game probably has a 100% completion reward, and I
But,
don't want to
like-
go back for it.
Regardless of, well, that was my original
Wow.
intention, but now it just feels like I sucked the fun out of the game by, like, forcing myself to, like, play the early part too much. You know,
Yeah.
if I just race through the game, I can get to all of the content more or less eventually, you know? And instead I have, like, a bunch of half-finished games that are, like, literally half-finished. They're at 50%
This-
because I burned myself out on them.
This sponsor challenge is interesting. Because, well, you'll see why relatively soon.
yeah. So should I explain why, or should we
Sure,
leave
go
it
ahead.
up to the viewer?
No, just go ahead.
So by cliff drops, they're obviously looking for a certain point requirement, but you're put at basically the top of a cliff with like 4 or 5 jumps available to you before the end of the run. Like, it's going to end way before the actual end of, like, Millicent. So it's basically saying, you know, style and get a high score over, like, these 4 jumps. Basically make the guy like each of those, because
Yeah.
you don't have a chance if the guy dislikes, like, any of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most interesting part of the game design specifically in those sorts of challenges is that they will, if they dislike something, it'll actually lower your rating. Right? It's not just about getting doing good enough. It's also about avoiding being bad enough when they're watching.
And I mean, it's also this is something especially when I fuck up a sponsor challenge like once in a blue moon. But I'll think about like even though this guy realistically, even though this guy likes tweaked rails, he wouldn't be unimpressed with a double rodeo, would he?
Yeah,
but that's not what the game wants. It's a challenge.
Yeah, the challenge
doesn't have to be real. It's supposed to be a challenge.
It's not
in a
about
video
becoming
game.
this hand's friend. Because really, it's only the hand. That's all you're seeing. Your judgment is coming from a gloved hand. So the hamburger helper's cousin is coming over to you and telling you, do tweaked rails.
Oh my god.
Whatever.
I never noticed that.
It's the third, there's master hand and crazy hand and then judgmental hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's hamburger
Kind
helper.
of a bossy bitch hand.
Yeah. Then there's that. You remember that evil hamburger helper guy that the dude on Twitter posted?
Oh yeah,
like that guy
most
counts
twisted,
too.
Dark fucking psychopath.
That guy rules,
twisted
and his
fucking psychopath.
I just gotta say that dude rules, and his dark, twisted, fucked up hamburger helper dude is pretty fucked up, and I'm very scared.
You know what that reminded me of though? Psycho the Shifter.
Psycho the Shifter. I don't think Psycho the Shifter has detachable hands.
That's not true, but they are very weird.
Cousin It was the one from the Addams Family with the hair, but what was the hand name? Thing?
Yeah, I think
his name was Thing.
Oh yeah, Thing. Yeah.
So there's something to talk about with this challenge as well. So it likes lip tricks, but there's I'm kind of like half playing this as a normal person would, but then showing what issue you run into, that there are no like half pipes or quarter pipes along the way, like after these two, for you to do lip tricks on. So you see I'm gonna do these, and it's like, even if I landed the first one, you're gonna be out of the opportunities you think you have. Well, remember that if you're going really slowly, you can lip trick on rails, and I'm going to show that. So the way to pass this challenge, no matter what, this isn't even cheese, this feels like the way you have to do it, is to slow down and lip trick a whole bunch of times on a rail near the end, and doing like a hand plant specifically seems to give you more points than if you did like any other lip trick. Now also, I'm going to jump off this hand plant and crash, because the game tries to turn me right at the end. So to avoid that, I would say to hold one of the triggers after you jump out of a lip trick. Release before you hit the ground, of course, but as you saw, my guy kind of tweaked his body. I'm holding one of the triggers, and that is preventing the game from trying its fucked up logic of, like, should I turn him? Should I try to do anything there?
Should I stay or should I go?
Yeah.
My evil, fucked up vision. The twist in the game logic.
Yeah, I could be the nicest game you ever play, or
a twisted fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
I love Twisted Psychopath so much because it basically works. Like, who wants to ride down a Twisted Psychopath? Those suck.
Right.
That's
You're
actually
saying
true.
that on the we're the Extreme Sports Gamers LP network over here. We love Twisted fucking Psychopaths.
In real life? No,
Double
you
black
don't.
diamond,
Shut up.
please. Double black diamond, please.
In real life, I can't handle an angle of more than like 15 degrees.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna
really
say,
scary.
like,
And he's
none
not
of
even
us-
talking about. He's not even talking about on a bike. He's talking about like his body can't handle an angle of more than
talking
15
about
degrees. He's just gonna
Again,
break.
that's really concerning considering he's an engineer.
No, I'm saying his physical. He's just like a. How's your coffin feeling?
It's feeling pretty good.
Okay. Well, that kind of that says everything I needed to say. Hey, real quick, Steam Next Fest just happened, and one of the things that I saw there that I played was the Lonely Mountain Snow Riders demo. And it's pretty good. If you played Lonely Mountains Downhill, it's kind of more the same, similar sort of thing, but you're on skis. And it has, I don't know if the Lonely Mountains Downhill had this, but Snow Riders has online PvP and online co-op, apparently.
Okay,
So
I'll check
when
that out.
comes out, maybe we'll both get it, and I'll play with you.
All right. Speaking
This
of
is
something
important.
that's not good, here's the infamous Photoshoot 3 that
Oh,
took me an
no.
hour and a half
Yeah.
the first time I ever played the game to pass. Okay, there's so much shit you gotta do in this one. I'm basically just gonna say right off the bat, I think you should have a big air of 12 or 15 to make this how I do it. I
When
mean,
you say
how
12
I do it
or
is how you're
15, do you mean
supposed
12 to 15 or 12 or 15?
I guess technically 12 to 15, but
Okay.
again, I like to do my stats in groups of 3.
25 or 6 to 4.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So yeah, there's a lot you have to do for this, but yeah, it's you know, at 12, like I think I'm at 12 in this recording, and as you see, I do need to do a pretty late jump there, and it looks like I'm not really going to land it, but I do end up getting it, and I can't, I just can't, there's too much going on, I can't just walk you through the whole thing, but like,
Yeah.
as you play the game more, you start to need less big air than you would earlier. Maybe it's just because you get more confident and you can carry more speed through. So, hey, if 12 or 15 is not enough, you know, remember you have board points, you can bump that up. But I'd say that's probably one where you have to hit a minimum threshold. I just don't know what that is.
You know, that was a really challenging line. Wouldn't it suck if there was another challenge in this level that made you do
Yeah,
that
of
exact
course.
same line?
Wouldn't it suck if the hardest fucking lines in this game are always given to multiple challenges? Haha, that would be
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah, that would suck.
That would suck
Yeah.
so bad. I'm so glad that that's not in this game. Am I right, though?
They would never do
College,
that to you, to us.
I just want to take a second while you guys are all doing your goofs and gaffs to just say, Connor, I think you explained that really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a very complicated thing, and there was not a lot that you could say, given the time you had to say it, and I think you explained that.
Yeah,
well.
I wanted to put, like, what is in your control more than just, oh, well, do it
Right.
until you get it down.
Yeah,
to
Jesus
do
Christ,
X
I
and Y
fucking
and
hate
Z.
it when that's the advice you get.
I
Like,
thought you were about to say, Jesus Christ, take the wheel.
yeah, exactly.
Take the
That's what it
controller.
feels like. That is what it fucking feels like when you're playing that challenge. It's
I would
scary.
give God a chance if he would take the controls from me when I panic in a video game.
you would
Yeah.
you would maybe
think
see
I
his
would.
point of view.
I think I would maybe. I think that would be the thing I would need to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me to stop hating God.
Yeah. To stop beefing with him, to stop
Yeah.
making diss
What
tracks
if-
about him.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
What if God was one of us, had walls like one of us? You know, like
Had
wall
hallways
hacks.
like one of us.
Whoa.
No,
Whoa.
I meant like, yeah. Sorry, I get too into watching Call of Duty videos. I start picking up their lingo.
Do you do you still watch Call of Duty videos?
I watch some, like Slade.
I remember back in the day you used to, and we never really talked about it because I never really was that into it.
Alright, so Pro 2, we're back up here. But this is a little easier. Also, this took me more attempts than I'd like to say. I did not show every attempt, especially because I kept getting to the end and screwing up the final trick. This is probably the most awkward final trick of any pro run.
Yes. No, I consider this challenge much harder than the other one.
Yeah, but
Because-
there are some things you can cheese to do it. In fact, I'm not even gonna show the non-cheese way. For video sake and simplicity, I'm just gonna show the cheese way. Like, for example, you
Yeah.
can bounce off of rails and do something cool, so you don't need to jump over to the other gap and
That's
whatever.
insane.
And then here,
And you can
this
dig
is-
into the snow there.
Here,
Yeah.
as you see, he's going to want you to follow the thing. I just always skip the green by tricking big off the red to the side and then just come back for the blue here. I have
God
made
damn.
that green before, and I actually did on recording in a run that lost on the final trick. Okay, look at this. Only 276 points. How the hell did he get so few points? Like, I
think-
need to stop.
you
And
know
then
what, I
look at
bet you
this,
I'll-
30,000. How the hell did he get so many points? This is
I-
a trick I have no idea how to pass.
I have a theory for how he got the first one and the second one. He bounces off the rail the first time. He just does a tiny bounce off the rail and gets those 200 points. And then he starts doing another trick that he holds all the way to the other side.
Yeah. And so this final trick is just really awkward. I overdo it. As you see, I only needed 13,000 points and I got 30k. But that's just because there's a really fine line between not doing enough and way overdoing it.
I think maybe that whole time you were doing that challenge, I breathed like twice.
Yeah, so
God.
So this is basically where I want my stats to end up, where in spin and flip and balance, I'm 3 away from full. So I can, focus on... I could put board points in there if I really need to hit absolute full. But otherwise, yeah, that's kind of where I was going with my stat distribution. And then, I don't actually remember, is this mountain preview the same as for Millicent 1? I think it might have been, because I remember Millicent 1 starting pretty far away.
Yeah, for a sec.
And I think we pointed this out
of the game.
I think we pointed this out earlier in this LP, and also in the last LP at some point. On the one hand, it's funny that they show you like the low LOD like background textures, but also at the end of the day, it's pretty cool that those are like actually concretely modeled, even if they're like they probably have no collision. You're not supposed to go over there, but it's not a skybox.
If they had collision,
it's not a skybox. It's like to a certain extent.
That's probably what they're trying to show off. I mean, at the time, I would imagine that would be something that would be kind
pretty
of
impressive. Like, that is technically
now.
Probably something you could go no-clip to if you had no-clip.
Yeah,
you probably wouldn't be able to board on
looking over there, like, I could totally believe that was a skybox or not a skybox, but the camera pan does tell me that it's not.
Yeah.
Like, that is a place the camera can go to.
Cool.
So again, I'm also including Event 3 in this run, just because... Well, Event 3 is, again, an event where you have 3 heats of 1 minute to... get down. And what I was trying to do was jump over to the left gondola wire where the media guy will capture you. As you see, I don't actually need to do that. Like, I'll show enough point opportunities and media capture opportunities to pass. But that's still kind of my go-to, because I like to do something early in a run that lets me know I've basically already won it, rather than, ride down to the bottom and hope that something there works out, even if it is probably going to work out.
Yeah, I mean, my one main complaint about the events, and this is... What is the opposite of damning by faint praise? Because my complaint is that, like, the events scores that the other writers get are hard-coded, which destroys the replay value of them, which is really sad because these are really cool. This is a really cool idea, and if there was, like, some sort of variance...
with faint criticism.
Yeah. Like, I wish I could go back and... I wish there was more replay value to these, because it's a really cool idea that is not in a lot of other extreme sports games.
Huh. I'm criticizing with fake praise.
That kind of reminds me of a comment you often see. Like, I watch a lot of, like, Doom videos. Not just, like Doom 1 and 2, the originals, especially, like, people's custom maps and campaigns and such, and so inevitably I end up watching videos about like ray traced blah 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 4K, and there's always a comment like, this is how the game looked to me originally when I was much younger, and I feel like it's hard for me to remember that. Like, how did a game like Halo 2 or hell, Super Mario 64, my first console was an N64. How did that look to me as a kid?
I've thought about this too. I think the best way you can recall that is actually if you try to recall your dreams about it. Because what you're seeing when you play the game is both a combination of the game's actual visuals and your expectations, right? Your nostalgia is coloring your memory of it. But in a way, that is what you saw when you played the game, because it was the first time you were engaging with those feelings. It was the purest form of that. Right? So, like, whatever you dream of Halo 2 is what Halo 2 was to you. What you saw. Regardless of how close it is to the real game or to some ray-traced version of Halo 2.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like,
because that's your personal experience with it. So it's necessarily subjective what the best or your version is.
That's weird. Because, like, I know the first video game I ever played was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Mm-hmm. And when I think about it, I mean, it's still, in my mind's eye, it looks the same as it always has, but I'm still just, like, fond of it. Like, it doesn't look like a PS2 game, it looks like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4.
Yeah.
Whether I'm remembering it as a 5-year-old or now, as literally playing it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, like, again, games seemed so much bigger and such as a, kid when you were bumbling your way through it.
We could go so much deeper into this. I
Right.
would be so ready to go super deep into this, but like way deeper than anybody wants.
Well, we'll see what happens next video when we return to Bear Mountain. See you then.